You're about to hear a clip from one of our Patreon exclusive episodes. To hear the entire episode, sign up now at patreon.com/Jenkins and Jones.
Tyler wants to give an official sort of album review. The Clipse album. So Tyler, take it away, please.
Yes. But no, we haven't like we've talked about kind of the impact that the rollout and all that has had, but I feel like we haven't really had a conversation where we actually dig into the album. So hopefully we can have that today. I'll say I'm just so impressed by this album, dude. Just so impressed. Like all three of these dudes involved here, all three of them bought their A+ game. Just 10 out of 10s from all of them. You know, the verses from Pusha and Malice are sharp. The production from Pharrell is sharp. It's just it's a perfect album to me. But I'll say like the biggest feeling I have with this album is like a feeling of gratitude, right? Like I'm just so grateful for this album. I'm so grateful that this brand of rap is still moving me the same way it moved me, you know, damn near 25 years ago when I first heard Lord Willing, right? These are dudes who stuck to their brand, who believed in themselves, believed in the brand of music they made, and they delivered what feels like the best album of the year so far, rap album of the year so far to me, right? And I was watching the Clipse interview on Joe and Jada, and Pusha T said something that stuck with me on there. He said, we're not chasing trends. He said, we aren't chasing a moment. He said, we're chasing Locks freestyles, right? Like and if that doesn't mean anything to you, then you're not the target audience here, because he's chasing the nostalgia of the rap game, you know, when they first emerged in the 2000s, where you see on the album they've got DJ Clue dropping ad libs, which feels just, it's so nostalgic, right? You see Pusha T went on a Joe Budden pod and said that whisper flow that he's doing on POV, he said that was Guru homage from Gangstar, right? Like it's something that is so timeless that it still feels refreshing, right? It doesn't feel, you know, they didn't switch up the game. They stuck to the script that they've been sticking to their whole career for 25 years, and it just still feels so impressive and fresh. And that album is a triumph, bro. I'm just completely blown away by it.
52 and 49, right? That's the age of Pusha and Malice, or the 48 and 52?
52 and 48, yeah.
Like at this point, dropping this type of music, I mean, like we talk about rap being a young man's game. I don't think so. I think we talked about this last pod. Like I don't feel that way when the best rap album I've heard in years is 52 and 48. Crazy. But like Malice, man, like I don't know if I've ever I've listened to an album and felt like somebody's words had more weight. For him to take that break and come back and do what he's done on this album is incredible, bro. Like that's special. Even the way he talks about making the music is so inspiring. It doesn't even feel like rap when we're talking about this shit. It feels like it's bigger than that. What they've created, but like and you can feel the intention he put on every syllable. He didn't waste a single syllable in any of his verses. You know what I mean? Like the link I sent y'all about when he talked about Ace Trumpet's ballerinas, you know, and snow globes and shit, and it broke down how niggas used to, you know, ship cocaine. Like he's speaking a particular truth that we might not know unless you lived a particular life. Right. You know, he doesn't give a fuck about us and like regular. Like he's like, yo, I'm gonna just speak my truth in the most uncut form. You might not get it, but it's okay. But you'll feel this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I just, man, like what I mean, obviously Pusha, you know, the beats were just special for real. But I just feel like whenever Malice spoke, like I blocked everything out. Time almost stopped for me. Where I had to hear every syllable. I had to pay attention to every syllable. It really felt like somebody in the pulpit. It really felt like a man. I mean, like a man of God speaking in a particular way. But man, like everything I've seen around it. We talked about this where he said, where like the Q&A when they asked him, you know, questions about you know, this one dude was like, yo, should I sell cocaine? and he was like, if you want to drive what I drive, you feel me? Like there's no regret with what he did. He appreciates the journey, you know what I mean? But he doesn't glorify it. And also he doesn't judge those who are doing the same. And I think there's something really amazing about how he speaks about these things, how he moves, and also aspirational. You know, like I've always thought I was like rapping Malice lyrics to my sister, pretending like I wrote them shits, you know, back in like early 2000, nigga. She was like, John, you wrote that? Oh my God, you should rap. I'm in the kitchen rapping shit like Clipse lines, Malice lines and shit. But I mean, dog, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if throughout the entire album, a single rapper has moved me more than Malice has in this album. It's just truly a special album. His performance to me just is, I mean, second to none.
Yeah, like much like his brick walk.
Much like his brick walk. Yes, he did say that.
Indeed, brethren.
But yeah, that's going back to what you said. I have always said that Pusha T, you know, you're talking about how Malice had weight. I've always said Pusha T is a perfect rapper to me, right? He checks every box. The pen is razor sharp. You know what I mean? The voice is perfect. But I think what he leverages best that a whole lot of rappers don't do is he understands how to leverage presence. Where like when Pusha T steps on a track, shit gets dark, bro. Like, you know, some sinister shit is about to go down. Like that beat switch on the original So Be It when he went at Travis, the room got darker when you heard that shit. You know what I mean? And both of these rappers, Malice and Pusha, they understand how to leverage presence. Where it's like Pusha T, he kind of maneuvers in like the tension of shit. You're like, where is this crazy motherfucker gonna take us? Where Malice, he commands your attention, like you about to hear some of the realest shit you ever heard.
I feel like Malice is the type of nigga that moves in the darkness but doesn't get dirty. Does that make sense? Like I feel like his shit is dark, but he's the light within that space. So like he'll talk about things that move that hit me. Like we talked about this last podcast when I brought up how he spoke about his dad covering all bases, and imagine how he felt when he found bass in the cabinet. You know what I'm saying? In the cupboard or whatever the fuck, right? That's not light. That's heavy. And it's kind of dark. But the way he spoke about it was it felt beautiful. Like it felt like he was giving a certain amount of respect and love to his pops and appreciation. You know what I mean? And also understanding, while also standing on what the fuck he did. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that what somebody moving in that way is very abnormal. That's a hard balance to have. But he walked that fine line throughout the whole motherfucking album. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, like all he has is his truth, and that's exactly what he gave us. Yeah. And I appreciate him for that.
Yeah, it's that's kind of been what the Clipse music has always been rooted in. These are kids who, you know, they rapped about it themselves. They're like, we didn't hustle because we were struggling. We hustled because, you know, we gave into temptation. These are kids of a deacon who turned to selling drugs, and that has always been the extenuating theme throughout their music. It's like this battle with their conscience of them knowing that they turned to a life of crime, to a life of illicit gains. Well, they didn't have to, but the life of luxury was just too appealing for them. Right? Like, and that's something that we've heard since their very first single, even before Clipse, on their album that never got released, The Funeral, where, you know, they're talking about when they die, how they just want they just want their funeral to be authentic. They don't want any fake people there. They only want the people they love. And that's always been another thing with them too. Authenticity is so important to these dudes, because like I said, they didn't pull the shit, you know, lights got cut off, we had to get out here and hustle and get it. They wasn't going to lie to you. That wasn't their reality. You know what I mean? Like, you hear that line where Malice said, my pops made sure he had all bases covered. So imagine him finding bass off in the cupboard, right? Like, he was like, my pops was working double shifts and taking care of us, but we was still out here hustling. You know?
When Pusha was talking about his mom, he said he made sure before she left, she made sure to stuff both fridges of one of his sisters. Come on, man. That shit hit me like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? I'm like, the way they talked about they people, there was a certain, like a real respect and love. But a motherfucker had to do what a motherfucker had to do. This is what I want. This is my life, and I'm gonna do what I want with my life. But I appreciate everything y'all did for me. I mean, that's just, I mean, to put that into a song and to share that with us and to start the album like that, like this is where we're at. This is us. I mean, that's a brave move. It's bold. I respect the hell out of them. But yeah, you're talking about that Joe and Jada interview. And I remember having a conversation with my dad and his neighbor. They moved a particular way. This did a little time, you feel me? And I asked a question I shouldn't have asked. And my neighbor said, he was like, the way he answered the question was, I know that you said you see them two girls, you see them two babies that live over there next to me. I know that I can do whatever I need to in order to keep them safe and not lose a night of sleep. And like when he said that, my dad looked at him and goes, And like when Jada was talking to Clipse, like that's what I felt. I felt like I was in a conversation with some niggas that was on a different level, moving in different ways. And there's a certain level of respect that they have for themselves. Because when he said that shit, that you brought up about, I'm trying to give you that feeling of Clipse freestyles.
Yeah, lots.
And Jada said, appreciate you. But it was just like a particular spiritual understanding. Like it felt deeper than just those words. And I feel like this album is full of that. You know what I mean? This album is full of that, where they're talking about things and they're showing us a world that, I'm not built to maneuver in. You know what I mean? And it's real niggas sharing they truths. And man, heavy.
Yeah, man. Incredible album, bro.
Incredible
album. Two incredible dudes, too. Every interview, I've watched every interview. Every interview I've watched, I feel I've gained something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know Mike talked about Sinners and how watching that made him want to create. You know what I mean? We're Tony Remick over here. You feel me? I feel like this album made me want to, just hearing them speak make you like lean in, do what you got to do for you, do what's necessary for you. Maybe people won't understand or fuck with it, but sometimes you got to move like that. You feel me? So bro, special album. It's not just the album of the year to me. This is a classic album. Yeah, it's an album I will listen to for the rest of my life.
It goes back to what I said, where you can just feel the dedication and devotion and effort they put into making sure it's so perfect, it's so aligned. Like there's so many songs where they're using the same flow. There's we talked about on Ace Trumpets where Pusha T's doing the rhyme scheme, Malice is doing the the EE rhyme scheme, Malice is doing the shit. We talked FICO, goddamn FICO. The song structure there, the song structure there with the inside outside bars, where they're both running that 2-man game and doing that flow, and then you got Stove God doing the hook, and he's referencing the inside out through the hook. Just so much cohesion there, bro.
That's my favorite song. That's my favorite song in a long time, and Malice's verse on that's my favorite verse in a long time, bro. Mm-hmm. I've run that back so many times at this point. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That dumb presence, bro. Back to what we discussed, rappers who know how to leverage their presence, bro. They put on a masterclass in this album.
I think Malice, like you said, presence. I think Malice's presence is so, like his words are so heavy because he speaks from a particular place within inside him. But I think Pusha the same way. I don't think they hop on anything and plan on telling a single fucking lie. You know what I mean? Somebody brought up in a B-Dot interview where Malice said rap ain't never been a reason I ate steak. He said the same thing on the Joe and Jada joint where they was asking him, you took that break. How'd you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? And like, how'd you make ends meet? And he flat out said, rap ain't never been a reason I've ever eaten steak. You feel me? Like, what do you do when a nigga's in a room with a nigga speaking like that? What do you do besides shut the fuck up? Because that's all I'm gonna do. Right. I'm soaking up that motherfucking game, nigga. He's seen some shit I ain't never seen. You feel me? Moving in ways I've never moved. I need to hear all of that. You know what I mean? I don't want to step on none of them words, baby. I need to soak all that up. But yeah, that's how I felt when reading. I'm like, yo, let me sit down and listen to this. You feel me? Let me sit down and really listen to these niggas speak their truths. Let me really soak all this shit up. Because it felt like it came from a real place and something I can gain from. These ain't made up stories for us to enjoy. You know what I mean? These is niggas that is talking about their lives. This is the autobiography. You feel me? And I'm thankful that they felt, that they felt led to share this, and also how they talk about each other, like how they talk about like how much I don't know why I feel sad about, like, it's just crazy, but how much Pusha missed Malice. You know what I mean? And how Malice watched his brother alone. You know what I mean? And they were like, and he spoke about sometimes it's good to be alone. Being a lone wolf isn't bad. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you need to feel that. You need to maneuver in that way to grow. I mean, these is grown ass men. And this is grown ass men rap. And I think that's the best version of rap.